Okay. Well, I say we get started, and if we have joiners, we can welcome joiners as they come, just in respect of everybody's time. And I would like to say welcome to the Future of Diversity. This is a guest chef program sponsored by Osteria Spiga for guest chefs of color in the community who want to showcase their amazing talents and food concepts from around the world. My name is Sabrina Tinsley, and I'm the executive chef and co-owner of Osteria Spiga. And I'm so excited tonight because chocolates have always been a thorn in my side. I am a chef, but chocolates are not easy. Like tempering chocolate is really challenging. So I get to learn how to temper chocolate tonight along with all of y'all and make chocolate bars and understand how to pair wine with chocolate. And I'm able to do that tonight because we have here Chef Natalie Evans, who is an amazing pastry chef. And she actually was in our program, the guest chef program earlier this year in March. She was our guest chef. And so, so she's going to be doing the interviewing tonight. What's that?
No, there was just some verbiage right there.
Oh, okay. I got interrupted. No, I lost my phone.
Sorry.
I got it. So, but before we get started, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Again, if you plan on following along, there are some things that you're going to need to have ready. So starting with your double boiler, which is essentially a pot of water that fits the, that can comfortably nestle your mixing bowl into that over top, suspended over top, let's say. Also you may want to go ahead and melt your chocolate colors. So that the cocoa butter colors, you can melt those for about 30 seconds in the microwave. You don't want to get them too hot. They definitely should not boil, but you want to reach a temperature of about 90 degrees. That should be probably perfect for, it should be liquid by then. Let's see. The other thing I just wanted to touch on, the Zoom etiquette for tonight, we're going to, for the most part, stay muted. Put your questions in the chat. If you do have a burning question, do go ahead and unmute yourself and ask. This is chocolate. It's very sensitive. We want to make sure that you get this right. So don't hesitate to unmute yourself if you do have a burning question. So in front of you, you should have all of the items that you received in your kit. So you're going to have your Belgian chocolates. You're going to have the 3 colors that we were talking about, 3 primary colors to decorate. You'll have your chocolate sprinkles and your color pearls, chocolate pearls. You're going to have 3 pieces of equipment. So there's going to be a palette knife. You're going to have a thermometer and a paintbrush. And you might want to give those a rinse because those are brand new. You'll have a box of chocolates, especially made for this class and especially made to pair with the wonderful wine that we have, which you'll also have a bottle of in your kit, Poole wine from Frechette Winery. So we are here tonight with our guest chef, Michael Poole of Hot Chocolat, and that's how you pronounce that. It's not, you're not going to find any hot chocolate in this place. I've already tried, trust me. It's Hot Chocolat, and you'll understand why he calls it Hot Chocolat when we get to the interview section. And we also have winemaker Shae Frichette joining us on the Zoom. She's in Eastern Washington, so she's going to be joining us from there. And we're going to get to learn a lot about her as well and about her wines and how they pair with chocolate. So without further ado, I would like to pass the mic over to Natalie, who is going to interview Chef Michael. And I'll step to the side.
All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, Chef Michael.
Hi.
Oh.
Yes, it was finally a pleasure for me to actually meet you. I told you earlier that you are the first Black male pastry chef I've ever met. And so this is an honor.
Okay,
and so we're going to have this interview so we can get to know him, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the first question I have for you is, they say that you're a man of many hats. And so what was your work like before chocolates?
Before chocolates, I was in the Seattle Fire Department. That's actually how my culinary journey began. But yeah, that's what I did before and during and
And
Until I
after-
retired.
So like, what drew you to like cooking and pastry and?
Well, my culinary journey began when I entered the Seattle Fire Department. I was young recruit going through my year of probation, and I was out stationed out north. It was a little Sleepy Hollow quiet station, and I wanted to be downtown where the action was. So once I finished my year of probation, I put in a letter to go to any of the downtown stations. And the captain at the Belltown station, he called, he interviewed me. He said I could have the job, but there's one stipulation. You have to be able to cook. So can you cook? I'm like, oh yeah, I can cook. So my journey began.
Oh, nice. So you got some professional training along the way.
Yeah.
So what culinary school did you go to? And...
So I ended up after cooking for about 20 years. I ended up going to Le Cordon Bleu in Paris. It was one of those things where I was just talking with a friend of mine one day, and they had mentioned how they'd taken a day class at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris. And, so my response was, wow, that's one of those things I've always wanted to do. And they looked at me and said, well, why don't you? You're a lieutenant now, your kids are grown, they're out of the house. Why don't you go? So at the time, it seemed a little overwhelming, but after I looked into it and I thought about it, found out it was a 9-month course if I go straight through. Of course, there was no way I could be gone, with my full-time job. So I decided I was going to go and take one class. I decided I was just going to go for it, take one class for cooking, and started preparing myself about a year ahead of time. Started taking French language lessons, brushing up on my French recipes and that kind of thing. And then when the time came, I went. Yes, it's true what they say about the French chefs. They yell, they scream, they throw things, but the experience was so good that before I left, I decided that I wanted to come back and do a year of pastry, because I kept looking to see what they were doing on the pastry side. And so I was just going to do 1 year, and came back and did that. And after those 2 classes, I decided I was going to come back 2 more years and do the whole thing. So I ended up graduating with the Grand Diplôme for both cuisine and pastry.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow. So parlez-vous français?
Oui, bien sûr. Et toi?
Not me. So I heard that you probably won some cooking competition. Did you ever do like the Bocuse d'Or or one of those?
Well, the cooking competitions that I won, they're all before I actually went to culinary school. I actually, once I started cooking for the fire department, probably about 4 years later, I found my passion in cooking, and I started a food concession business, and I specialized in Jamaican cuisine. I would do the Jamaican jerk chicken, curry rice, black beans, had the Jamaican patties, and complemented it with the tropical fruit. And so that was kind of the path on, to start me off. But my competitions, I won 3 times. The firefighters, they have a firefighter seafood cook-off for best seafood entree and soup. I won that 3 times. They made me a judge. I won the national firefighter chili competition in New York. And then Rachel Ray, she invited me to her show. Won competition for best dessert. Had a couple of cheesecakes that I entered. Best, let's see what else. I did the best vegetable 1 year for other little small competitions. So, and then of course there's chocolate competition.
There's chocolate competition. Wow. So
Yeah.
I hear some really great recipes coming out for sharing.
Yeah.
For this comfort food season.
They're out there,
Yeah. So you have this wonderful production studio here in West Seattle.
Yes.
And if there are people that are local that are on the call today, that be listening in, how can they come and sign up for another class if they enjoy this one?
Well, you can go to my website, hotchocolat.net. I have an online store where I do sell chocolates and macaroons, and then you can sign up for both of my classes. I teach hands-on macaroon making class and a hands-on chocolate making class.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Did they tell you I was Jamaican?
No, they
Okay.
didn't tell me.
We gotta do some church. So just like one more question. We know that you studied in France, and I just wanted you to share a little bit about I believe you take a journey back to France. How often do you go to like freshen up or see your friends?
Well, you know, the story, you know, when I was you know, I go back once a year, and I went for 4 years, and I finally graduated. It's like, oh man, you know, I'd stay 3 months at a time. And then I graduated. It's like, oh no, what am I going to do? No more Paris. And so anyway, so I figured out how to go back the next year. I went back. I contacted the school, and they worked it out so I could come and do a little stage at the school itself. So what we did is we did all the prep for the classes, and we cooked lunches for the staff at Le Cordon Bleu. And then the next year I came back and I worked in a pastry shop, and it's kind of gone on and on and on. And I've been going once or twice a year for the past 20 years.
Yeah, so if you follow him on Instagram, Chef Michael Poole has a lovely journey that he shared with us this summer, and I was really intrigued and inspired. Yeah, it was awesome. All right, well, I guess it's time to start making some chocolate. So let them know what they're going to do first.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for joining me. It's much appreciated. So, so we're going to go ahead and start making our chocolate. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start off by melting our chocolate. The whole process of melting the chocolate and cooling it, that's the whole tempering process. And tempering is like the most important part of making chocolates. That's where you get the shine and the brittle snap from. So
what does tempering mean even?
So tempering is giving your chocolate stability. So so what you do is you heat it up. You know, it's a tempering scale. So you heat it up to a high temperature, you let it cool down, and then you reheat it to between 88 and 90. And that's where the magic happens. If it's a little too hot, you get some discoloration, some streakings. If it's a little too low, it's kind of the same thing, discoloration and streaking. So, so we're always looking for that sweet spot. So we have shiny chocolates, and then when you snap it, you get this brittle snap.
Nice.
Okay, but we're going to talk more about the tempering part because we're actually going to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the chocolate to like a regular bowl.
All of it?
We're going to save about 100 grams, you know, maybe about a cup of the chocolate. And so it'll be in here. And so for the double broiler, we just, you know, this is what I'm using for mine right here. So it's only about half full of water. We don't want it too hot. And we just want it to be on medium heat. And we're just going to put our chocolate on there, and it's going to start the melting process. And if the water is boiling underneath, then the chocolate isn't going to melt properly. So if chocolate gets too hot, it won't melt. You know, so basically, you know, if the water's boiling, I put it on, I go out, I come back, I look at my chocolate, it hasn't melted. As soon as I take it off and let it start cooling, it'll start to melt. So it's certain temperatures in which the chocolate actually melts. So so we're just gonna start the melting process, and we'll come back around after we finish painting the molds. So the next thing we're gonna do is we need to get our little colors here and you know, put it in the microwave, heat it up for about 30 seconds. We don't want it too hot. Right around 90 degrees or lower is usually pretty good. If it's boiling or if it's too hot, then it's not going to really stick to it won't stick to the chocolate. It'll stay on the mold. And then, so is everybody ready for that, or still? You're good? Okay.
We have a question here.
Okay.
Do we need to stir our chocolate while it's melting?
Not right now. We will stir it, but you know, right now we're just starting the melting process. So
that's a good question. I feel like I always stir it, and maybe I shouldn't
be agitated.
Well, well, it's very important to agitate the chocolate when we get to the actual tempering part. But right now we're just melting. We're just melting, trying to get to that high temperature of where it's melting, and then we're gonna, you know, cool it down, and then we'll reheat it. So is everybody ready to have their colors melted, ready to go?
You give us a thumbs up.
Everybody thumbs up, everybody's ready? All right, perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
So I have, this is a professional mold. This is usually what I use. It's a carbon poly chocolate mold, very sturdy, but they're pretty pricey. So we got the ones like this. We got the ones like this for our class. So what we're gonna do, you know, I'm an artist in chocolatier, so what I like to do is I like to paint the chocolates. If you take a look at most of my chocolates, probably that I've done for the last few years, you know, I've been painting those. So, you know, when we start to paint the chocolates, you know, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. We just like, you know, we're just here to have fun. So I just, you know, dip the brush in the color and, you know, put a little bit on the mold. Like I say, there's no right way, no wrong way. We're just having a little bit of fun, but put a little bit of color on the mold. You can start doing that. And then once we're done with this, then we're gonna let the color set. So the colors are cocoa butter, and it's an oil candy color if you want to make it yourself. So I think most people are familiar with the cocoa butter. If you can see this, this is my cocoa butter. Yeah, this is the cocoa butter. So I use that, and I have some oil candy color that's specifically for chocolate. You cannot use food coloring. Food coloring will not work when it comes to chocolate.
So why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
It'll ruin your chocolate only because it's
Is it water based? Is that water?
it's more of a water base, you know, so water and chocolate, they do not mix. So
And how important is it to have colors on your chocolate? Like, it's not like a necessary step. It's just decoration, right?
no, it's just decoration. So when I do my class, you know, we like to paint the chocolates because when they're done and we pop them out and we look, you know, they're nice and pretty and colorful, and you know, and you put a little more time and energy into making your chocolates.
How's everybody doing?
Want to paint one of these since you're here?
Oh, of course.
Go ahead. All right. So everybody's good? Yeah. So like I say, no right way, no wrong way. Every now and then I'll have some students that also specialize in art, so they make theirs look all nice and pretty and all that. But like I say, there's no right way, no wrong way. We're just here to have fun. So I'm gonna check our chocolate. Chocolate should be melting nice and slowly. So by the time we finish painting, hopefully the chocolate is melted enough, we can start the cooling process. So while they're painting, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the tempering. Like I say, the tempering is the most important part when it comes to chocolate making. So there's three important principles when it comes to tempering chocolate: time, temperature, and agitation or stirring. You have to take your time. There's no rushing it. Temperatures, they need to be exact, and lots of stirring. And, you know, even though a lot of people don't realize it, the stirring part really makes a difference. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, when tempering is making the chocolate stable. So basically, when we heat it up, stir everything, and then as it cools, you know, it gets to that stable part. We put it onto the mold, and it actually it melts better. There's other important principles, but the snap, the taste of it, you know, those are all results of proper tempering.
Michael, we have a question from the chat group. It says Chris and Rebecca is asking, my blue color is different consistency than the other colors. Is that normal?
For this particular blue, it is. The blue is a kind of a powder. It's one that I brought back from France the last time I went back in July. Brought back some powdered color. So it's a little bit lighter, but it'll still work. You know, it's not a strong blue like I like to have them, but they still work. And
so it's a powder, and so the powder
more
absorbs the
cocoa
powder, butter.
Let's see, I'm gonna.
It makes it stronger.
Yeah.
Well, I'm into this. I'm super.
This is actually the powder that we use. I think this is the one that I use, the blue for that one. And then this is another oil candy color that you can use for chocolate instead of food coloring. Because like I say, food coloring will ruin your chocolates. And so you have to use oil-based or a powder for
and sometimes it could be that it's just cooling down more than the others, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I use the same on the chocolates here. So that's the same blue as I sent you.
That's what I was going to ask you. So when you decorate your chocolates, I mean, if you see how beautifully decorated these chocolates are, and they're also like very consistent. Like, do you use like a brush?
Smaller.
And like, how do you do that?
I use an airbrush.
You do?
Yeah, I do. But with the red ones, you know, I was trying to paint in some little grapes, so I did that by hand. You know, did the little dots on there. But you know, so now the trend in chocolate making is airbrushing. You know, most chocolatiers are airbrushing their chocolate. So I have a couple of airbrushes that I use. So basically, it's kind of the same thing as painting. If you know, if and when your airbrush goes out, and it has, you know, of course, it's always at the most inopportune time. You have to do it by hand. But you know, it's kind of like once you get used to the airbrush, you know, I don't know. I have an airbrush over here.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's not like a piece of equipment that I have laying around.
Really?
Well, you have an airbrush?
No, you need to get that thing up. You ain't using it?
Yeah, so our colors right now are really solidifying. So if that happens to our guests at home, they would just like microwave it for a little bit longer.
Yeah, they could just heat it up.
Does it matter how much
you're heat this up?
Like the cut, like the not like the layering, you know, like
if I do matter how much?
Yeah, like if let's say I'm adding more color so to the colors that are already dried or solidified, does that make it like
it's actually, as it cools down, it's actually better when it cools down. But it sticks better. You know, that's why we don't want it too hot. And you know, if you're doing little designs on it, you know, it actually designs are better if it's a little bit cooler. Are you good, or you need
I'm
this warmed
good
up?
because
You're good?
I'm good.
Sabrina's
too.
starting to mix.
Okay.
Mix the brushes. Being
Well, you know,
no
I mean,
and pastries.
I wanted green, so you know, how am I supposed to get green?
Okay, so
All
cool.
right.
So everybody's good. So when we're done, it's the one that we did here. This is the other one. Very nice.
Mine's better.
So
Shouldn't saying that because I'm a
thanks for chat. Yeah, they all look good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our mold in the refrigerator. So probably leave it in there for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and we're gonna move on to the tempering of the chocolate part of it. So so we'll stop here. Let me get a little
And so,
tray.
yeah, and I can run this to the fridge so we
Okay,
can
cool.
keep talking. So, and the purpose being to solidify the colors.
To solidify the color. So so it's set or it's solid. So I usually just put mine on a tray.
Yeah.
when I do that. So you know the refrigerator right up there?
Yeah,
Perfect.
I'll
Just
take it.
find a rack out there.
All
All right. So everybody's good?
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody say yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. So the next part, is we're going to get back to our chocolate bowl. Like I say, water and chocolate do not mix. So usually after I have my bowl on the double broiler, I usually put out a little towel right here and I put my bowl on top of the towel to keep the water contained to one spot and it doesn't get all over the table. So so this is my chocolate right here. So we're gonna give it a little stir right now. Here's mine. And we can check the temperature to see what our temperature is. So I have my little temperature gauge.
Oh, okay.
This is the one that I have in the
right.
shop
You have a
here.
digital one.
Wow.
But you guys have this kind, right?
Right, the dial.
Okay, so what are they looking for? What's their temp?
So I usually like to have the temperature up in the 100, about 105, maybe 110. So right now mine's about 98. So I'm going to put it on just a little bit longer. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so we can
Anybody want to?
get the process going. So what we're looking for, so usually I like to have it at least over 105, but usually about 115, but well below 150. If your chocolate gets up to 150, you have to be careful because it could burn. If the chocolate burns, you're done. So so we don't want to let it get up to 150 unless the manufacturer recommends tempering it up to 150, which I have seen a couple of brands say that. I don't let it get that hot. I've tempered a lot of different chocolates and the process is pretty much the same for all of them.
Okay.
We have a question from Chris and Rebecca.
Okay.
It says, did you say not to let the water boil, right?
We don't want our water to boil in the double broiler or else the chocolate won't melt properly. So,
Does
it'll
anybody
be
want
good.
to put in the chat like what temperature their chocolate is at right now?
Okay.
We can kind of get a gauge of where everybody's at.
Yeah. All right, I'm like right up there.
Like at 110.
Yeah.
We got 125 for
Okay,
Michelle.
so that's good. So we're gonna take it off. If you're up over 105, go ahead and take it off. Mine has gone up to about 113 right now, so that's good. Chocolate should be melted. This is the way we want it. We want a melted chocolate. So
I have a question.
yes.
So so
Whoa,
say your
what's going up
temperature, is 105, but you still have pieces of chocolate melted or
Not melted.
like not melted in the mix. Is that even possible? And what
Well,
happens?
once it gets up to 100, the chocolate will melt. Yeah. I mean, there might be a few little pieces, but it's not there for long. You just stir it.
You just have to stir
and
it in.
it'll
Okay.
all melt.
Got it.
Okay. So once we get to that high temperature, we take it off, put it on the table. Then we're just going to go ahead and put the rest of our chocolate in here. So we'll just dump it in like so. So basically with this, we're going to start the cooling process. So once you dump it in, go ahead and start stirring.
Now, Chef, what's the professional term for this method? Is it called seeding or?
Okay, well, this particular method is called seeding. That's when you put like handfuls of your chocolate into the bowl. The other method is tabletop tempering. That's where we pour half the bowl onto the table. We spread it around. Usually a granite table, because the granite table is always cold. You spread it around, let the chocolate cool down, put it back in after it's cool, and then it brings the whole temperature down. So if you're doing large batches, this is the better method because you just put the chocolate in and it'll start cooling pretty much right away.
And I think you have more control.
And you have a little bit more control. Yeah, but smaller batches, I like to do the tabletop method, but big batches, I'll do it like this. So the tempering curve, you know, we have the high temperature, you know, whether you're at 115 or 130, we put this chocolate in and we're going to cool it down. And we like to cool it down to between 82 and 84.
Oh, that much.
That much.
Wow,
So
okay.
I don't know if you can see this, but there's still pieces of chocolate in here. So it's starting to cool. I'm going to put this back in here.
How you guys doing at home? Enter the chat. What's going on in your kitchen?
Okay, so mine is at 84.6.
Great.
So we're in that range. So I'm just going to stir it a couple of more times. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this back on the double broiler. So when we put it on the double broiler, this time we're going to pay a little more attention to it because we want to bring it up to, like I say, between 88 and 90. That's where the magic happens. So the best thing to do is heat it up to 90. Once we have it at 90, that way you have a couple of degrees for the chocolate to cool down a little bit and still stay in temper. And you know, that's where we get the shine and the brittle snap. So I'm just going to set this back on there.
So what should Tracy do? Hers is at Tracy said hers is at 124 still.
Oh, okay. So we're just going to let it cool. There's no easy way. You just have to let it cool. So that's why we put the other chocolate on there, because that helps the cooling process. And we just have to let it cool the best we can.
Okay.
If it doesn't come down to that, eventually the temperature will come down, but you know.
Stay with us, Tracy.
Sometimes there's nothing we could do. All right. So don't want to leave it on too long. Just want to heat it a little bit and start the stirring. You know, for here, we still have the little pieces, so we're still going to stir, and then I'm going to put it back on. We want to get rid of all these little pieces on here. So,
Michael, I'm very curious about the percentages in chocolate. So what we have today is a 53% chocolate.
Right.
So can you explain a little bit?
So the percentages of chocolate, in general, most Americans like their chocolate a little bit sweeter, the dark chocolate we're talking about. So a 53 or a 54% is a nice sweet chocolate. Most Americans like that. The chocolate connoisseurs, they like a stronger chocolate. So, you know, they're looking at like 65, 70%. And then there's even those that like the 80 and 90%. You know, that's a little bit too bitter for my palate, but you know, there's people that like that.
I use that for mousse.
Yeah. So, you know, when it comes to chocolate, you know, it's kind of a personal thing. Everybody likes what they like. You know, me as a chocolatier, I don't judge. There's people that like the milk chocolate only. There's people that like only white chocolate and only dark chocolate. So I don't judge.
Yeah. It's all amazing.
Everybody likes what they like.
So, but what does the percentage refer to? The percentage of what?
Okay, so they have sugar products and milk products in, you know, so like 53% would have a little more sugar products, a little more milk products in there. As it gets up to, you know, 65 or 70, you know, it's going to be a little stronger, so they don't have the sugar products that they have in the lower percentage chocolate. So, you know, you can kind of think of it like this. The white chocolate is going to be in the 30% range because, you know, you use cocoa butter, you use sugar products, you use milk products. That's, you know, white chocolate. For milk chocolate, you know, same thing, milk products and sugar products. And then for dark chocolates, it's, you know, it's actually the liqueur from when they press the cacao bean. One side's the cocoa butter, the other side is the liqueur. All right. So we want a consistency, something like this. This is what we're looking for. So, oh, that's me.
Does anybody want
I'm gonna say, oh, somebody has one right there.
Does anybody want to show their bowl?
So when I pick it up like this, it's kind of a nice smooth. And you notice on here, there's no little pieces. So we just stir. So we're gonna check to see what our now's probably a good time to go get our molds. All right, so I'm just gonna check the temperature, see what where we're at right now. So I'm up at 90. So it's gonna go a little bit over 90, but I'm just gonna let it sit here, let it cool a little bit. So I'm at right now. I'm at 91.5. So
Erica says hers is a little closer to 100. So
okay,
she's almost
so
there.
yeah, so we just just have to let it cool a little bit more. Unless you have a little bit more chocolate left, but
yeah, sip some wine and watch. How you doing,
yeah.
Tracy? Yeah.
So this is how we want our chocolate to look, just like so. Okay.
Michael, we have a question.
Yes.
Can you repeat what temperature we are bringing this down to? And what
Okay.
temperature we're bringing this back down to?
Okay. So when we first melt the chocolate, it's a high temperature, 115, 120. We come down to between 82 and 84. And then we reheat it to between 88 and 90. We always like to start at the higher temperature. That way we have a little bit of room for it to cool and stay in temper. Okay. All right. Everybody's good so far, so good?
Thumbs up.
All right.
Right,
Okay.
good.
All right, cool. All right. So is there anyone that has that's at about 90, between 88 and 90 right now? No, not yet. Okay. Well, I think we're pretty close here. Should be. So we're ready to add this to the mold. So as your chocolate cools down, then you can do the same thing that I'm gonna do.
So I guess everybody can kind of watch right now, and while theirs is cooling, and then when they get ready to put theirs in the mold, let us know. Oh, somebody's at 95.
Okay, all right.
Somebody's still waiting. Okay.
Still. Okay, so this cooled down a little bit. It stopped at 87, really. So I'm gonna heat it up just a little bit more.
We need that snap.
Yep.
There's no easy way when it comes to tempering chocolate. It's kind of up and down. I have air conditioning in the room, so the room's a little bit cooler. Okay, there we go.
Yay.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
On there.
Wow.
See, the problem is when you put it on the double broiler, you don't want to go too, and it'll spike pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and you can follow along. Let me get a clean sheet here.
Okay, I have one right here.
Perfect.
I forgot to mention at the beginning that you have a sheet of parchment in your package. Hopefully you didn't throw it away, but the whole purpose of the sheet was to kind of protect your counter space from the chocolate.
Okay. All right, so everybody's good. Give me a thumbs up. Everybody's good. All right, okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the chocolate into the mold. A couple of different ways to do that.
Michael, we had a question in the chat again.
Yes.
We're cooling to 82 to 88, then we reheat to 90. Is that correct?
Okay, so we cool it down to between 82 and 84, and then we reheat it to between 88 and 90. So between 88 and 90, that's where the magic happens. That's where you get the shine and the brittle snap. Sometimes, you can go get it up to 91 and, sometimes it'll be okay, or, it could be down to 87 sometimes, but if you check your temperature and it is 91 or 92 and there's streaks in it, that's why.
Okay.
But, but every now and then
It's so
it works.
tricky.
All right.
I'm gonna have to do this a million times before
I need,
Good thing it's recorded.
yeah. So,
A ladle.
so you can use a ladle. You can use your spatula, whatever works for you. Or you can use a big spoon. Here, let me, I'll let you do.
I'm gonna do
I'm
this
gonna let you
one
do.
because this is the
I'll
mold
let
that I
you-
have.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh, you're gonna pour?
the easy way is just to pour it in like so. So I'll let you go ahead and do yours, or
Oh,
you
You
can
can
just
scoop it in.
I'll do
scoop
mine
it.
with
Control.
this.
Yeah, yeah, you can
Okay.
scoop
Okay.
it.
Okay, and does it like, how do I, does it matter how much I
Just,
put in
yeah,
each one,
just
just to kind of fill
kind
it
of
to the top?
fill it up.
Because then
Mhm.
we're gonna scrape it, right?
Correct.
Okay,
All right.
all right. Hopefully there's enough. Is there gonna be enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be enough.
Mhm.
Am I
Even if
going
it-
too slow for you, Michael?
No, no, no,
not at
that's fine.
Okay.
This is the part we've been waiting for.
I know.
The filling
This
part,
is
yeah.
so cool. I missed that mold completely.
So Chef Michael, can you talk a little bit more about the flavors that are in chocolates, like how they have like some of the different like percentages, and you have like more like fruit tones, and because they also have some sort of
Well, it's the process, the bean to bar process, where you get the beans and you process it all the way to make the bars. Everybody kind of has their little recipes that they use. That's kind of what a lot of chocolatiers are doing right now. They're doing the bean to bar. Oh, let's get yours first.
Great.
Oh,
So
okay.
so first, I just like to tap it a little bit. And then that's for the air bubbles. You can see if you tap it like so, the air bubbles come to the top. That's what we're looking for. So then the next thing we do is with our palette knife, we could just scrape this off so it's all flat onto the paper. Let's see. Whoops. Okay. And then this one over
You
here.
just want it to be level with
Yeah.
with that mold itself, with the little indentation.
Okay. So then,
Who's got their chocolate in the molds yet? Anybody?
okay, so then we can kind of tap it again. So this is the time when we can put the sprinkles in. If you have nuts, the little pearls. I have a bunch of stuff here. So you can go ahead and start.
You know I'm gonna put. No, I have to get that level.
All right. Yes.
I'm putting nuts for sure.
I'm
Yes.
just gonna put this back on just to heat this a little bit more to put into this
Okay.
one.
And so how many times can you do that? Can you like heat and cool, heat and cool? How many times?
Well, as long as you don't put a lot of chocolate in there, so if I scrape this up and I put it back in there, it's going to change your tempering. So we don't want to put anything in the chocolate. As long as we do that, then we can kind of put it on the heat, take it off, put it on, take it off,
Okay.
and you should be okay. It'll
Okay.
stay in temper.
Wow,
Okay.
that's
All
pretty
right.
impressive.
So with this one, so doing this silver bar here. And sometimes, when it comes to the tempering and you put it in here, it's still a little discolored. Sometimes it takes a couple of times to kind of really get a good feel for how to do this tempering stuff.
So the color, you talk about it. I know they talk about it as like a bloom. So what's happening when the chocolate
Yes.
blooms on you and it's discolored?
Yeah, that's because you didn't temper the chocolate properly. That's why you get the discoloration. So remember, when you're at that temperature between 88 and 90, it's like magic. You get the shine and the brittle snap. Like I say, if it's a little bit high or if it's a little bit low, you might have streaking, discoloration. That's what they call the blooming part of it, and your chocolate isn't tempered properly. All right.
Could that also happen if you like mix it too much, like add too much air?
Yeah, so that could happen. Usually if you use a spatula, you don't introduce a lot of air. If you use a whisk to whisk your chocolate, that's when you add a lot of air to it. So I have the bar right here. So, you know, put a couple of, but I'm gonna scrape this off like so.
Ooh, it's a professional one right
Yeah,
here,
I
y'all.
was gonna say, so this one's more level, like, so it's easier
That's
kind
level
of to
too.
scrape it up. Yeah, to scrape it across, huh? This has a
I
little
was
lip
like,
on the
that's
outside.
level 2.
All right. So then you can do this one.
Awesome.
Put some stuff in here.
Okay. Awesome.
We'll put some stuff here. So when I let the chocolate on the paper get hard, and then you can just scrape it off and put it back in your bowl, remelt it, you know, use it for another use.
And so if we wanted to make chocolate tomorrow, for example, with this chocolate, how do I store it?
So it's best to store kind of in a cool place. You know, I usually put plastic wrap over, store it in a cool place. You don't really want to store it in the refrigerator.
Moisture.
There's moisture in the refrigerator. You know, there are some chocolate refrigerators that are dry, no moisture. You know, you can just leave it in there. But in general, most refrigerators have moisture in them.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little bit careful when it comes to that. So I don't know if you can see this one right here, but
I've made a mess.
I knew it.
And it's not.
Good.
It's not like you're making a mess. We're having fun,
Yeah.
right? Because remember, you know, this is going to be for
I
you
can't sell
later.
these bars.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
So what do we do if we overfill it? Or did you have a
Yeah, we had a
question in the
question in the
chat?
chat.
Okay, let's answer that one
Are the
first.
tempering temps the same regardless of cocoa?
For
chocolates, that's
for
what
for for for, cho- for
yeah, the
chocolate.
percentage. Yeah.
Okay.
For dark chocolate, you know, it's pretty much all the same. I mean, you know, there's always the, you know, manufacturers that recommend their own technique of tempering or their own temperatures. But in general, all dark chocolate is the same. There's different temperatures if you're going to use milk chocolate or white chocolate. They have their own temperatures, but in general, most dark chocolate is all the same. So on the side of a bag, I have a bag right here. On the side of the bag, they always have a little tempering scale on the side of the bag.
That's convenient.
So if you have any questions, you can always refer.
And
to
so
the bag.
we're using Calibo brand chocolate.
So this one's Calibo. You know, I use different chocolates depending on what I'm doing. So this one is Calibo. You know, it's a 53%. It's a little sweeter. You know, usually when I teach my classes, this is what I use because most people like their chocolate a little bit sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, then you have the serious aficionados that, you know, nope, 70%,
Yeah.
you know, but you know, it's a personal thing. So whatever you like. All right. So it looks like here we're done with this. This is what we're looking like. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stick these in the refrigerator, and it usually takes about 10 minutes, and we're just going to let it set. It's going to get hard, and
Then we'll pop them out.
then we'll pop them out.
Okay.
All right.
And so, but quick question. So since mine is overflowing here, is that an issue or?
Well, you know, these are just ours,
Yeah.
so it's okay.
Yeah.
But if you were going to sell them,
but if you're going to sell them, yes, yeah. But you know,
It's gonna
if
be
you're
hard to
making it
wrap
for
that
yourself, you know, you make it to your liking.
it's
It's
not
a
going to fit the
personal
yield
thing.
for the wrap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other thing, you know, I just point out, sometimes, you know, your nuts might be sticking out a little bit, you know, so sometimes I'll just take my little knife and I just tap this to make sure that the stuff is
staying down.
It's gonna stay down. Whoops, stay down. Sorry about that.
All right.
Got a little
This is
chocolate on
ours.
there. All right. Okay. So everybody's good.
I have one quick question
Yes.
on the colored pearls. What's inside?
So those are just chocolate. They're chocolate covered pearls.
Okay.
Six
Oh, okay.
Like
So
No
chocolate.
Krispies? No Krispies?
No, I wanted to get some other things, but we're trying to keep the price just right. So
Yeah, okay, cool.
these were easy.
Yeah,
This
they're
is my
beautiful.
first Zoom class. So
Oh, yay.
yeah. Okay.
Cool. So, but I suppose we could put some Krispies in here if we wanted to. if we
Yeah,
had some in
yeah.
the-
Like
Uh-huh.
you can do layering and
Yeah.
all that stuff
Ooh.
would be cool too. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll get
All
these in the
right.
fridge.
So we'll get these in the fridge. Everybody's good. Anybody have any questions?
Who has theirs in the mold?
She does right there. Okay. All right.
How do you store the chocolate again when
When we store the chocolate, we store it in a cool place, so sometimes I'll just, I'll leave it in the bowl. Sometimes I'll put it into, one of the smaller bowls and put a little plastic wrap over it. And I just, I keep it on the outside. You want another,
No, I'll get
the sheet pan?
yeah.
There's one right there.
Down there. Mhm.
Can you, one of those, or get that small one. I think that's, okay, all right. We're getting that all squared away. So then we can move this stuff out of the way. And we're gonna get ready to do some wine stuff here in a sec.
Oh, it's almost.
Move this
You
out of the
ready,
way.
Shay? You
I showed up ready.
All right.
Exciting. So I guess we can kind of go right in while Chef Michael is cleaning up a little bit here, and we'll talk about the wine that we have tonight, and let Shay share with us a lot more about herself and her beautiful wines and winery location. So yeah, so let's welcome Shae Frichette to our class tonight.
Yay.
I guess
Thank
the
you, guys.
Oh, someone has a question. I think we missed you decorating. Oh,
Wow,
okay,
that
that's
was,
Erica. Don't worry, Erica. All you gotta do is just sprinkle the stuff on top.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, don't put and the chocolate, it'll stick. Once the chocolate gets solid, it'll stick in there.
all right. You just make it look pretty the way you like it. So, all right, let's go back to Shay. So, got this beautiful wine in your kit. All right, so Shay, where did
Oh, what was that, Natalie? I missed that question.
Yeah, it looks like you had a little switch there. I was asking, where did you grow up?
I'm from the South. I'm from Marion, South Carolina, which is a tiny town, 45 minutes inland from Myrtle Beach. You'll probably hear my Southern accent at some point. And it's not the wine, it's just my Southern accent.
Nice. And so, so you also had like, multiple careers from what I understand, before you became a winemaker. But can you tell us a little bit about those careers and how it all ties together? Like, how are you able to use your transferable skills to become this winemaker and actually market these beautiful? Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, many moons ago, I was a theatrical actress. That's what I studied in college, theater and speech communications. And that's what took me to LA. So I lived in LA, was a theatrical actress for a few years, and then saw this job posting for corporate training. And I was just like, I can get in front of people, I can chat, and I convinced them to hire me. So I spent 20 years in corporate training and leadership development. And then I met my husband, Greg, and after dating and being married for a few years, he was just like, life is sweet, let's have a baby. And I was like, okay. And he said, if we have a baby, we should move closer to our parents. And I thought that meant we were going to move closer to my parents in South Carolina, but he assumed that meant we would move closer to his parents in Washington State. So obviously we were not on the same page. And after arguing back and forth, finally, my husband, Greg, says, you know what? I'm sick of arguing. Let's leave it to fate. Let's flip a quarter. If it lands on heads, we go to Washington. If it lands on tails, we'll move to South Carolina. And I was 2 glasses of wine in, so I thought that was a fabulous idea, right? So he flips the quarter, and that sucker lands on heads for Washington. So of course, I suggest we do best out of 5. He didn't want to do that. I checked to see if it was a 2-headed coin, and it wasn't. So that's what brought us to Washington. And then I just decided I wanted to do something that would give me goosebumps. And I was really enjoying wine. Was just so fascinated by it. And I was like, you know what? Let's just quit our jobs, learn how to make wine. And I fell in love with Red Mountain, which is the little AVA that my winery is located in. The problem was there was nothing for sale on Red Mountain when I wanted to open a winery there. So I just went knocking on doors, asking people to sell to me. And after 4 no's, the folks who owned the piece of property I had finally said yes. So the moral of that story is you pester someone enough. I'm just kidding.
It's a little truth in that statement. Come on. So tell us about like your day-to-day like family life. Like, how's your son enjoying growing up on a winery? I see he got, the little 4-wheelers going on. Just tell us more about that.
He just turned 9, and we are finally figuring out like how to get him really engaged in what we do, because we live right here on our property. I mean, literally, I have my house and then the winery and then our tasting room and then our production facility. So there are 3 facilities here, 2 acres of wine grapes that we're surrounded by. So he's around it all the time. And so we throw in a quad. It's like, can you use the quad to go pick up the sticks in the middle of the vineyard? He's like, I get to go ride my quad? Sure, buddy. Yeah. So he is very engaged, and he hears us talk about it so much that I don't know how many other 9-year-olds can pronounce Cabernet Sauvignon or words like batonage, It's pretty comical to hear him. But thanks for asking. His name is Jaden, and for that bottle, for our wine, the swiggly F is for Frechette. But if you turn that bottle upside down, it's a J for our son Jaden.
Oh, that's awesome. So only do it if your bottle is empty.
Only do it if you're
I wouldn't want you to waste your wine. 4 hours out.
That's so cool.
That's a wonderful touch. So I know that you always have like some, really wonderful wine events happening, and you have like a wine club, and folks like to come out there to your tasting room. So tell us a little bit about that and the process of becoming a member of your wine club, or just to visit the location.
So we're the closest city we're near Tri-Cities, and we are like out in this really cool just wine country area where there's beautiful vines. And so our tasting room is situated right here at our vineyard. And so coming here, like, you are in the thick of things, especially this time of year where it's harvest. So we do a lot of events here, like our soul food dinner. We do a farm to fork dinner. We have a couple Motown jazz concerts. And then, so that's one of those, that's what our club members love, those sort of events that we host. But our club members also love that we select wine specifically for them. So our wine club is very simple. It's only 2 bottles of wine 4 times a year. So it's 8 bottles of wine a year. And as a club member, you get first dibs on tickets to all of those events. And so that's the thing that I think our club members love the most is the wine, and then having access to our events. Oh, the other thing too, we actually do pop-up tastings over in Woodinville. So we come over to Woodinville 4 times a year when those wines are released, and we invite our club members over, and we kind of set up a wine shop, a wine tasting bar, and pour wines and get to engage with our club members on the west side. But thanks for asking. That's a good question.
Yeah, I like Woodinville. I need to go back out there. Trisha said she was just out there 2 weeks ago. How was it, Trisha?
Oh, wow. Oh.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. That's very sweet. Thank you.
So Shea, when you get a chance, at some point, you can also put in the chat, how can they order from you and to be a part, or, be a part of the wine club. And so let's go ahead and talk about punctual
wine. Well, I will say there is a promo code, and it's super easy. It's just diversity. That's live on our site. So we do treat you like a club member, in that you save just like our club members do when you order from us, and just put in the promo code diversity. Nice. And so that's one little tidbit. But this wine, punctual, because I believe timing is everything. When it comes to our story, we flipped the right coin at the right time. We left our jobs at the right time. We moved to Washington at the right time. We got into this industry at the right time, and we knocked on the right door at the right time. And I believe that the folks in this room are meant to be here at this time for this moment to have this experience. And so I think Punctual just represents this experience in this moment with us. I love, love, love making this wine. It's a lot of Cabernet Franc and it's a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon. So for if you are wine folks in Washington State, then you probably know that Cabernet Sauvignon is the most widely grown wine grape variety in our state. Wow. Cabernet Franc is a Bordeaux varietal, just like Cabernet Sauvignon, but it's one of those lesser known varieties. It's not widely grown, and you rarely see it as a front runner in a wine. Winemakers kind of use it in blends. And so I know what it's like to be kind of that person on the back burner. And so I thought that Cab Franc, because it's so beautiful and it's so amazing, I was like, you know what, let's actually elevate this variety and let it headline this wine that is kind of like our flagship wine. And so Punctual is the same consistency of blends every single year we make it. It's a lot of Cabernet Franc, a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon. I think of this wine as like your best friend. You know, your best friend can come over when you're like wearing PJs and all you have is leftover pizza. That's our Punctual is. It's like that anytime kind of drinking wine. It goes with everything. And it loves, loves, loves chocolate made by Michael.
I like that.
So I hope you guys enjoy this wine.
Let's
cheers.
Yeah.
So Erica, how many glasses you done had? Because I saw you over there dancing.
Erica's my friend joining from New York. New York, y'all. I also have Mikhail joining from Michigan. I have my sister and my son on the call. And my neighbor is here, and so many folks that I haven't met yet, but so excited to meet. And I see also Michael's mother is joining from.
Yes, Pahrump, Nevada, just outside of Vegas. Outside of Vegas.
Very nice. And everybody pour their glass if they're gonna join us, and let's try this wine together. Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
So good. So rich. I love that.
Thank you.
Shay, what someone had in the chat, like, is your wines available in New York? Or if not, can you ship?
You know, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. We ship to just a few states. I think about 20 states we ship to. Every state makes their own laws on wines. And so we happen to ship to states that either we already have a presence in. Unfortunately, New York is not one of the states. I also heard Michigan, that's not a state as well. Someone says that they're from Bainbridge Island. Yeah, I'll send wine to Bainbridge Island all day, every day. And New Jersey is a thorn in my side. Let me tell you, with their crazy laws and rules over there. Oh my gosh. Pennsylvania actually was a state that they had some very strict liquor laws, and they actually had taken trips out here to Washington State. And since then, they've kind of slacked up on their laws, making it easier for us to ship there.
Awesome. Thank you. So at this time, are we going to be tasting?
I would love to
talk about taste.
Yeah, have some taste, try the chocolates, drink it with the wine, and just kind of understand what it is that we're tasting.
Right.
Did you want to talk about the chocolate?
Yeah, I can talk about the chocolates. I got my inspiration after I got my autographed bottle of wine.
Ooh.
Which I wasn't sure if I was supposed to open or not, but I opened it. Anyway, so I did 3 chocolates. So the first one I did, I talked to Shea and I asked her, what flavor, really stands out. And she said blueberry. So this first chocolate up here is the blueberry. It's a dark chocolate ganache, and I infused some blueberry in there. I think it pairs real nicely. The middle chocolate, that's a regular dark chocolate ganache. You cannot go wrong with regular dark chocolate, especially when it comes to pairing the wine. And then the last one, the red one, I made a dark chocolate ganache, and I actually used some of the wines and I infused it into the ganache. So all 3 should pair really well with the wine. So
should we try it?
So we should try.
Any particular you try it, or it doesn't matter?
I'm not sure. Let's try.
Okay,
We
I
can,
think dark chocolate. I want to
Go-
try
go-
that.
go-
dark
go with
chocolate.
the
That's like
dark
the most
chocolate.
sweet. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
I
You
have-
guys, are you guys trying yours?
I have one too.
Or y'all ate y'all's already?
That's mine.
Erica
Well,
ate all
that's
hers. You can tell us how it is, Erica. Amazing, nice. Wow.
You can unmute Erica.
Hey, I like giving sound to her.
It was amazing. We didn't have any wine, so I didn't have to, I didn't have to wait.
Because you're on a different time zone anyway, so.
Yeah, it's late. I'm gonna be like up all night.
Anybody else want to share about this
man.
yummy experience? Like, Shea, this wine is like, it makes you want to drink more with this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the cool thing is that food changes, wine changes food, and food will change wine. So I love, like, when I took a bite into this wine, or took a bite into the chocolate and then had the wine, it actually, some of the wood characteristics in the wine showcase more. And we use French oak on our wines to age them. We age our wines for almost 2 years in oak. And some of those oak characteristics are kind of hidden behind the fruit driven characteristics. And so I love this dark chocolate ganache, Michael, with it. I think it's beautiful. I think it brings out some of the nuttiness and the other wood characteristics in the wine that sometimes I miss.
All right. Very nice. Very nice.
Yes, which one are we gonna try next?
I want to do the blueberry.
Okay. Blueberry it is.
Blueberry.
Michael, we have a question
Yeah.
from Trisha. I got a box of 12. Are those 3 flavors in that box?
No.
Did she get a special box?
No, she ordered an extra.
She ordered an
Yeah.
extra, and the reason is because everybody that had the kit was getting one of these anyway, and so we kind of decided that we would just send some other assorted chocolates.
Right.
But it's kind of a limited edition. But I do have a few boxes left if anybody wants to get some more.
Absolutely, we have them at the Spiga.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Or do you have them here too?
I have a few here, and then you
Okay.
have a few there.
Yes, absolutely. So if anybody wants some,
Yeah. So.
Your ganache is so
do
nice
my
and-
blueberry.
So nice and creamy.
it's smooth, right?
It's creamy, isn't it creamy? I wanted to
Yeah.
say that.
I
It's
know.
very creamy.
Did you put butter in yours?
I have.
I'm gonna add it.
I'm French trained, so all my stuff has butter and cream. Okay.
There you go.
Is there a type of butter that you use though? Like
No,
a Plugra or
it's just more of the techniques. I played around with this blueberry for a while because I really wanted to get it. I tried it with the 70%, did 54%. I finally got it. I think I got it pretty close, but
it's fantastic.
I really like this one.
I love our wine glasses. I mean, I don't recommend using a martini glass for wine, by the way. I never do this at home, but this is what we have for tonight.
But
Yeah,
this
she's
is all we have here.
It's a judge-free zone, right?
Okay, good.
That's right. Good.
Karen Demeter says, I love this wine so much. We're alternating some red pasta, red sauce pasta with the chocolates, and they all taste amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Very
love
good.
it. Way to go, Karen. I like
Yum.
that.
What she said, red sauce pizza. They got pasta.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Punctual. Shea responds with, I love pasta with red sauce with wine.
Okay,
Sometimes I
nice.
toss a little wine in the sauce.
Yes.
Side note. Side note, Sabrina taught me how to make pasta from scratch.
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
Okay. Very nice, very good.
Did a great job.
Great.
Aw.
Yeah, Shea and I did an event together last Christmas, and I made did a pasta demo on that one. So she made it and took pictures, and I was very proud of her.
All right. Very nice.
Italian kiss.
All right,
All right.
we're
So
Maybe
then
the
the
last
last one. So that's I used punctual and infused it into the dark chocolate ganache. So it's kind of a light flavor, but it's a little bit different, and I think it goes well.
All right. The best for last.
Yeah.
The best for last.
I love the contrast of the red and the dark.
Oh
on the
my
bottom.
goodness.
They're just beautiful.
Mm.
You like
They're
that?
as delicious as they are beautiful. Like that's
Well, thank you.
that's rare.
It's got a little tangy thing. You definitely taste it.
Okay, so I did
I
something
love
right.
it.
Yeah,
You do many things right.
definitely
Mm,
different.
Yeah, this is good.
Michael, these are delicious.
Thank you.
See, I'll
These
eat.
are absolutely delicious.
Mhm.
Mm.
Very good.
Awesome. Well, should we get them? I'm gonna go
Get
get
The
them
them all.
chocolate.
Mhm.
All right. So,
All right. Who has theirs in the mold already? And everybody in the mold?
so we can take them out of the refrigerator.
All right, let's do it.
See how we did.
It's delicious. Oh my God.
All right. So our chocolates are on the way. And we'll tap them out and see how we did. Okay. All right, here we go.
Guys ready?
All right. So so when we take it out, first thing we do is we look at it to see how the tempering is. Looks like we did pretty good. I don't see any huge discoloration on it. This is what it's gonna look like. This is what this one looks like. So usually what I do is I just do a little bit of tap, like so. I'll split it, tap it, and then we're gonna flip it over and they should fall out.
Ooh, oh,
So,
nice.
so these look very nice. The paint,
Shiny.
very shiny.
Mhm.
So we did good here. So
I
you
did
got,
that. No.
yeah. Nice color on this, and then
Yeah,
on the
close.
back side, then we have the nuts and all our little sprinkles and whatnot
That's so
on
good.
the back. Yeah, so that's this one, and then with this mold, kind of let me slide that over. You know, same thing. Just tap it a little bit, and then see if they fall out.
my.
Very
All
beautiful.
right. So on these, you know, this is what we have. Then on the back side,
That's so
so
nice.
very
Beautiful, Natalie.
very beautiful. Did good work. Our tempering looks good. There's no
Blooming.
obvious streaking or blooming or anything like that.
But you as a professional, you would notice even
Yeah, yeah.
the smallest.
So
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
talk about these feet that
Yeah, so on this, you know, we could just, you know, this part of it, we can just cut that out.
Yeah.
We can trim that up.
can trim off the feet just in
Yeah.
case you didn't
And
clean
then
it all the way off. That looks so good.
yeah, so you can store these like in Tupperware if you have, you know, a little plastic wrap, whatever, put them in there. And
long
be sure to have a little taste too. With dark chocolate, it's solid dark chocolate, so the shelf life, you know, probably a good 6 months. In general, with chocolate, I like to make sure it stays cool. When I make molded chocolates and I have a filling inside, I usually give it about a 2-week shelf life. I don't add any preservatives to mine. So, you know, and because I use butter and cream, you know, the shelf life isn't that long, especially if it's, you know, hot. And if I have it for longer than 2 weeks, then I usually put it in the freezer. You can hold chocolates up to 3 months in the freezer, you know, just wrap it in plastic wrap. And then when you take it out, you need to, I usually take it out at night, put it in the refrigerator, let it warm up, and then it doesn't have the condensation on it. And then, you know, if it has a condensation, then you get the discoloration. But if you let it warm up slowly, then it'll still be shiny.
Nice.
Did you touch on freezer preservate, like keeping it in the freezer too?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
just
you
saying,
Oh,
yeah, we
sorry.
could.
I zoned out for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, up to 3 months.
Just said that.
Up to 3 months. You know, and we can,
Don't mind me.
yeah, you can put it in Tupperware. You know, like these bars, you know, you don't have to eat them all at once. You know, put them in Tupperware, put them in the freezer if you want, or you know, however you do your storage.
As long as they stay dry, because you know we're in the Pacific Northwest, so you know we got a lot of rain.
Yeah.
But and they can also use like those little with acetate or the packets that you get.
Silica?
Yeah, silica. You can use the
Silica.
silica packages inside to keep it from getting moisture.
Moisture inside. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm. All right. We have any questions? Everybody's good?
Well, Tracy said she still was cooling down. Where you at, girl?
Okay.
You can unmute.
Okay, I just got to 84, so I'm back on the stove to temper.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So yeah. So once you get up to 90, just go ahead and put it in the mold. And you know it's kind of tricky. So put it on for a couple of probably about 10 seconds and stir, and then take it off because it goes quickly. It heats up really quick. So
I've got my ThermaPen. Okay, here we go. We're done.
Get it off of there.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about the mold care after we've used it? Can you reuse
Okay.
it? And how to take care of it?
So the mold care, especially with the ones that I have, and even with the plastic ones, I usually wash them out with hot soapy water. I let them air dry, and then actually before I use it, I usually do like a little cotton pad. I'll use one of these little cotton pads, or you can use a soft towel and clean out the cavities. When I wash it out with soap and water, sometimes there's a little bit of color that's left on there. Sometimes there's a little film or something. When you wipe it out, you have to remember that the inside is going to be a mirror image of your chocolate. So perfect example is like this one. It's nice and shiny.
Glossy.
And glossy, so that's why it's important to give it a nice little wipe out, so you get that little shine.
Nice.
All right, is there more questions?
Someone said theirs isn't just popping out. Do we need to leave them longer?
How long did you have it in the refrigerator the whole time that we were talking, or it usually takes about 10 minutes thereabouts. I usually leave it in about 10 minutes. When I take it out, it's usually nice and solid.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Erica, you want to unmute?
Yeah, if it's not coming out, there's a couple of reasons, but yeah, tap a little bit harder. I don't have, we put those away.
Oh, I got it.
We'll just use this one. So like for this one, I tap it a little bit harder, or for this one, we just tap it like that a little bit harder, and then, and with these, you can kind of push it out also.
But don't twist and flex it, and then you're gonna rip it.
But you wouldn't recommend like dipping it in hot water or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No.
And you start all over.
Exactly. Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Is that it?
That's it.
Wow, we are finished ahead of schedule. Are we?
That
So we
was
can-
quick.
That's wonderful. I would like to invite Will into the frame because he's been with us this whole time.
All right.
And, oh, did somebody have a question? Somebody unmuted.
We did. It worked.
It worked.
Good.
Yay.
We are your Bainbridge Island /11th and Pike neighbors. So we've got a combo. Thank you. It was great tonight.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you everybody from joining across the country.
Yes.
Again, guest chef program, Future of Diversity, monthly program. So this month we featured Chef Michael Poole and winemaker Shae Frichette. Next month we have Pancita joining us, who does pop-ups all over the city. A Mexican woman chef who will be doing a wonderful 3-course meal for takeout. In November, we have a butchery class, Butchery 101. So Christina Glenoga, who is a female chef of Filipino origins, is going to be butchering a whole pig in the month of November, and you can buy into the pork share if you'd like to, or value added products. There are items like the whole ham that's going to be up for grabs. So if that interests you and you would like to see a whole animal butchered, that's November 7th. And then in December, we're going to invite all of our guest chefs back for a holiday festival. So at La Spiga, all the chefs, everybody here, I think, has already confirmed, because Will also was one of our guest chefs. And everybody's going to have a stand. There's going to be hot street food. There's going to be packaged items to take home to use in your pantry or to give as gifts for the Christmas holiday. There are going to be flowers. There's going to be live music. The bar is going to be open. And this is from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on December 5th, which is a Sunday. And we really hope that you'll join us and support all the guest chefs across the Seattle area from all parts of the world. And we're going to have at least, I think, 20 different vendors at that event. So it promises to be a really fun beginning to the holiday season. So I do hope you'll join us for Future of Diversity guest chef program moving forward. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Trisha.
Shelf life story.
Oh, is there a question?
Yeah, there's some questions.
Okay, we have some questions. So if anybody wants to stay on and listen.
Okay, so we had a follow-up. Any issues with just immediately reusing the molds?
Reusing?
No cleaning to use up tonight's chocolate, right? So they want to know if they can just follow up any issues with just immediately reusing the molds.
You can reuse them, but sometimes there's a little bit of color, or I don't know if you can see a little bit of chocolate in there. It's nice to start off with a clean mold, but you can reuse it as is.
Will the chocolate that's in there just remelt? From the heat of the chocolate and just kind of fuse and become a part of the.
Yes, but it might not come out.
It won't be. It
won't be as shiny.
Yeah, the whole.
The whole
presentation.
You have to do a quick little wipe out.
Yeah, and that's the purpose of the tempering, right? So
right.
Get that color.
So you get that real shine and brittle snap.
Any other questions?
That's it. This is it. No, we good.
That's it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you guys at the next one.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye, Shea.
Bye,
Thank you.
Shea.